In this video, we are going to test our login API. Let's have a look at the tests folder that comes with Laravel. When you open tests folder, you will find a class test case. This is the base class we are going to use in our test cases, and unit folder. So as example here, that example test extends test case. So we will do the same. And we have feature. So basically, if you want to write a test case for a specific piece of code, you will write unit test. If you want to test your endpoint, you will use feature test, and this is what we are going to use for our API. So let's first check if we can run our test cases successfully. So let's type this command php artisan test. As you can see, we have those example test cases. We have them running successfully. As you can see, every test case, the function name and the assertion inside it. Asserting true is true. That is a successful test case. And the other one in feature test. So we have two test cases passed, and the time it consumed. We are going to need the connection to the database. So let's add our connection in phpunit.xml. So I believe here we should add another record for DB connection because we are going to use SQLITE. This should be SQLITE. DB database should be, I believe, something like this. Memory. All right. Let's check again if everything is good. All right. Now let's write our test case php artisan by this command. php artisan make test. Let's call it maybe login test, or maybe controller auth controller test, because we might have logout and maybe other stuff, so we will test them together. This will be added like by default into feature folder. If you want to add it in unit folder, you should add this flag dash dash unit, right? But we want to add feature test, so I'll just click enter. All right, so now our feature test is created. So basically, when we write test case, we should have a plan what to write and what is the important thing first to begin with. So at least I think we should have a happy scenario. All right, non-happy scenario. All right, maybe then we check validations and the input. All right, I think that's it. So let's begin with our first test case. So let's add public function. We can begin it with test underscore user can log in with correct credentials, right? That's it. Return void. Let's first create a user by using user factory. So let's add a user to the testing database. So yeah, maybe use something like this by using factory method, factory helper, right? And I'll import the user class. All right, looks like it is not recognize it. Maybe I use the factory inside user class. User factory create. All right, let's create this user with email. Let's add test at unit.com. All right, this is our test email and our password. Let's use the autocomplete is password as well with bcrypt function. All right, we are now created our user, and I think the other fields like name, stuff like this will be automatic, or maybe we add them, no problem. So our name should be I'll add my name, right? And I believe that's it. Let's check this user dine dump it. All right, let's run our test. All right, it feels we know, and no such table. Yeah, we have another error. No such table users, so it cannot create user because we didn't use refresh database trait. It is important if you are working with the database, you use this trait. So yeah, now let's begin our test case. So we need to call our API. So this may be post or post JSON. Yeah, we have this function, and we could use the route name, which is login, I believe, and we should pass our data now. So let's try to log in with the user email, and let's add password, which is password without encryption, of course. This is how you can use like here the login API. All right, and we will receive it in a response variable. Okay, let's dump this response. Maybe we use something like this. Dump function will do the job. Okay, let's run our test cases again. All right, we have something. Yeah, we have our token now. All right, but I think I don't want to have the response like this. So let's change our response. All right, we maybe have this string in token variable, right? And we will return response JSON. All right, we will return like token and maybe the user data as well. So yeah, I think this will be much prettier and more readable for whoever is consuming our API. So let's run again, and now we have a token and user data, right? And now let's update our test cases. Here we go. Let's first, this is the happy bus. Let's assert okay, right? And let's assert JSON, right? Not JSON. I'll assert the JSON structure, right? We should have token, right? We should have user. Let's check now if we have errors. As you can see, we just asserted two keys. Like let's assert the keys inside user, right? We have ID, name, and we have some other data. Let's check again. Yeah, it runs successfully. Let's try to add like a key that does not exist. Let's check if it will return fields or not. Yeah, it do. So, but I think I wanted to assert the same exact response. So we will assert exact. I believe there is a function like this, assert exact JSON structure, to make sure that everything is working as we expected. So let's run again, and should fail because we have a lot of other fields: ID, name, created, and updated. But I just wanted to have ID, name, and email. All right, we should have created it. That's it. So I think we should go again to our controller and make a resource. So PHP artisan make resource, which is user resource. All right. And let's check our user resource. We will return an array of, yeah, ID and name and email, and created it, which will be just created it. All right, that's it for now. So I'm returning that from the API, and in our test case, we want to make sure that this is exactly what is returned. So later, if someone is like, maybe that user resource is used by many other APIs. So if someone like updating that, the test case should fail. Our controller, we are going to use that resource, new, right, new user resource, all right, of a user object. Yeah, that's correct. And we are going to expect in our test. Yeah, that's exactly what we want to have. Or, oh, sorry, we should run PHP artisan test. It's running correctly as we expected. I'm going to copy that function, right? It will be easier to add others. So let's test user cannot log in with wrong credentials, maybe. All right, so we will create some user, but in this time we will maybe add wrong password, right? And maybe wrong email or whatever, doesn't matter. So in that case, we should assert that it should fail or returning validation error. So response assert status, right, should be 422, right? This is the validation error, and we should assert, I think, validation JSON validation error of the email, I believe. Right, so let's dump the response first. Response dump, right? Let's see what will be the response. We have a validation error with the email, right? So I think, yeah, that's what we want. Let's run our test case again. Yeah, all right. Everything is working as expected, and we can use like this user. We can add it in a common function. We have function in, it's called setup. Yeah, and we can write our reusable code here, but first I believe we should add parent setup, right? And maybe this user here protected. All right, let's add user variable. So this should be this user. All right, and we don't need that, right? And we should add this here. Also, we should add this. So if we can run our test cases again to check that after our refactor everything is working fine, and yes, it is. So let's add more test cases for testing email and password validation. So test the user, test login, fields with wrong, with missing, maybe with missing email. We should have with missing email, we should have it, and the password should be correct, right? And yeah, I think it will be the same assertion. All right, it will return a validation error in email. Same with the password. Let's check the password. All right, with missing password. And I believe this should be password. So yeah, I believe we should add email and same email. All right, let's run again. Yeah, everything goes fine. Now, if someone, as we said before, if someone added something like updated it, but we are not expecting that, so this updated it, so our test case should tell us what is going on. So yeah, so we have our test case field. So this is the benefit of having unit test. And if someone, for example, updated some key, it should fail as well. This will add a break change in the API. So we don't want that. So our test case make sure that everything is working as expected, and we are safe to refactor or do any change. So let's I'll remove this and we will run again. Yeah, that's it. The next video we may do logout and maybe it's tests as well. Yeah, so stay tuned and see you in the next video.